Good morning, everybody. Silas back again today on this windy, cold, getting colder day. There's a storm coming in out of the north, that nor'easter that's hitting up northeast. It's coming this way now. They're saying about 6 inches of snow tonight and about 6 inches of snow tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. By the time you guys see this video, the snow will probably honestly already be gone. But it's going to be fun while I'm out here in the middle of it. I'm just trying to get some stuff done before it does hit. I got one last box of converters I want to get ready to go. And then Skylar brought a couple old trucks in. Then there's a few other things going on today, so we'll see what all we can get done. He just dumped this one off. I pretty well bought this one for scrap price. I paid a little bit over scrap value for it because it does have this chrome grill in it. It's got a kink over here on this side, but these big truck chrome grills are really hard to find. I mean, there's some out there, but finding them that still have the headlight rings and that are all there, pretty hard to do anymore. And then it's got two good letters on the hood. It's got the emblems on the side. This is a 67, I believe. Just judging by the hood emblems and by the dash in it. It's got this nice instrument cluster here. It's never been tampered with. It doesn't have extra holes cut in it. The only thing it has extra is that right there, but that was probably put in at the dealer. And then it's got that radio, and I believe that's a 67 only radio. 68 Fords used a little bit different radio and faceplate. It's got a pretty cool emblem on it here. Peterson Brothers Ford, Lindsborg, Kansas. I guess they went out of business back in the 80s, so that's a pretty old thing. One other thing I was going to ask you guys is, what is this? I can't identify it. It's air powered, but I'm not sure. It looks like it rolls and pulls something through there or something. I really don't know what that is. If you know what that is, let me know in the comments, because I have no clue. It's just kind of interesting. It was laying in here. It does have a really good driver's door as well. It shuts really good still, just a tiny bit of rust. It's got a decent driver's fender. If I can get this hood open. It looks like another old 361. This one could be a 391. It's old enough. Could be a 391. This side's pretty tore up on it, but so it's probably just going to be just a crusher once we get a few parts off of it. But it does have some decent parts, and it does have really a decent cab. It's got a little bit of body damage, but no rust at all. So I don't know. Somebody may want some parts off of it, but more than likely I'm just going to pull the dash parts, and then that chrome grille and these emblems. This in here is pretty much a top of the line big truck, because it's got the chrome around the windshield, and it's got the, I believe, yeah, it's got the chrome headliner trim. It's got the chrome dash in it. It's got the factory radio. Somebody splurged when they bought this old farm truck. I've got that yellow one over there. Is about the same year, probably a little bit newer. I think that's more like a 70 or 71 model. And you can see how it doesn't have any of the chrome at all. And it's got the painted dash, no radio, that sort of stuff. Then here's another old truck that came in the other day. Skylar and I got this off of Marketplace. I hardly ever have time to go get these things, so Skylar's my guy. He runs and gets them. He makes $200-300 on them for driving to get them, but he has to drive all over Timbuktu. Well, looks like that's going to be a two-handed job to get that open. But this nose here, I believe, is already sold to cut it off for a wall hanger. It's not really good to use for anything because it's pretty tore up, but it does have a really nice cab on it. I say really nice. It does have a tiny bit of rust in the cab corners, but it's just not mangled and rotted out to nothing. The visor up top's pretty good. The dash is still complete. It's missing half of the seat, but that's not a real big deal. So I think somebody will buy that cab and save it. It's got a newer engine in it. He said this is out of an early 60s Ford truck, so I think that would be what, was it a 223? I can't quite remember. I'm a little bit rusty on my Ford engines, but I'm pretty sure that would be a 223. But he said it runs perfect, and they were just driving it around last year, so I don't know how true that is. Or he wasn't driving it around, they had it running, he said. But I'll check it out. It still turns, so there'll probably be somebody who wants that. Lots of good pieces on this one as well. I'm kind of breaking my rule, and I'm slowly working my way out into this field. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible, but these here I'm probably going to cut them up pretty soon, so I figured it's not a big deal to put them out here for now. I'm using my windproof mic again today, my high dollar mic. I don't use it as often as I used to anymore just because it is so huge. It's really hard to keep it out of the line of sight of the camera, and it's just kind of bulky, and it does run off of a battery, so I always have to make sure it's charged and that sort of stuff. But it is getting pretty windy out here today, That storm is blowing in pretty fast. When I left the house this morning, it was like 54 degrees, and it's 40 degrees now, 2.5 hours later, and it's supposed to just keep getting colder throughout the day. Start raining tonight and then snowing through the rest of the night, then snow all day tomorrow into tomorrow night. But this is all going to look totally different tomorrow and into the next day. So kind of what my plan is I think I'll just kind of film a few odds and ends things today, whatever's going on today. I think actually someone's coming after that 57 Chevy that I had for sale. They're going to come pick it up, so we'll film that. And anything else that goes on today, I'll kind of film a little bit. But most of this vlog is going to be after the snow falls. And I'll come out here and take you guys on a tour of all these cars covered in snow. Good news, they just called. My Dodge is done. All the transmission fluid leaking was because where all the rubber lines connect to the steel lines, because there's several places where they kind of go back and forth on the way from the transmission to the cooler. They were all leaking because they had just regular screw down clamps instead of the self-tightening clamps. So he swapped all those out for the regular clamps that should have been on it to start with. And I guess the master cylinder that they replaced it with, they put a brand new one on it when it was in the shop here a little while back, and the new one went bad already. So they're taking it off, warrantied it out, and they got a new one on, so it's done, ready to go. Gonna go pick it up. I made it back with the last load of converters. That's a pretty heavy box. The truck's really not liking that much weight. There's probably close to 1,500 pounds in there. Pretty heavy load there. We'll get that unloaded. Forget how many's in there. 120 converters, 5 wire converters, and 10 aftermarkets. So not bad. That's about a typical box there. I'm going to get it unloaded, and then I'm going to go ahead and get all these body parts that are loose on this car, set all those off to the side, and get the car set out to where we can get it loaded up pretty easy. Same thing with this engine here. Get all that out. Once that's gone, I'll have plenty of room in here to park again. Somebody needs to buy this thing. The front clip's the same as any of your big international trucks, but someone's done some really cool custom work to this. You can kind of see that they've done some work here. If you look on the inside, they actually took car doors and grafted them into the sides of this bus. That way they can roll the windows up and down. But they did a pretty good job of putting windows in it. It's got some rust, but I mean, it's out of the 40s. You can't expect it to be too good. But they did a decent job of putting windows back here. Got some old taillights in it. And then on this side, they've got a door here. And they actually took the time to do all this fancy work and everything. I mean, they did a really good job of putting that door in. And that only opens from the inside. And it's got more windows there. It's got the little chimney up there. I'm not sure why this is out here. Probably because they couldn't fit it under the hood. So I personally would do something different there. That doesn't look real good. But it's just a cool bus. It's hollow on the inside. The previous owner gutted it. This door is kind of messed up. That's probably the worst part about the thing. Oh, now it jammed again. I'll have to get a pry bar later and pop that open. But I mean, it's empty in there. There's nothing in there. See if I can get the focus. I mean, there's stuff in there, but there's no furniture, cabinets, or nothing like that. Just got to clean it out. But if somebody wanted to rescue this bus from getting turned into wall art and then scrap, I'd probably take like $2,000 for the whole bus. Alright, I'm back at the yard now. I helped my dad pick that car up. We knew it was a Jaws of Life practice fire department car, and you just never know how cut up those cars are going to be or how hard they are to load, that sort of stuff. So I went with my dad, that way just in case it was something hard to load, I'd be there to help him. And we went by to pick up my truck, and I guess the lift pump is leaking fuel on it. So I figured, well, it's already in the shop, I might as well just leave it there. Prices dropped really hard today, actually yesterday. And then with the storm coming in, I'm not going to need the truck anyway, so I might as well just get it all fixed. He should be here pretty soon to pick this up though, so I'm going to finally go ahead and get all these sheet metal parts and stuff moved off of it. It's raining ice now. But I just talked to him on the phone. He's about an hour away, so I'm going to be out here kind of late tonight. But he is on his way, just in case I do have to leave, because I do have to leave at some point. Before he gets here, I'm going to go ahead and set the engine in the car and set everything out front. That way he can get right to it with his trailer. That way if I'm not here, he can load it up on his own. Before I forget though, I want to show these to you guys. These are pretty neat. Don't know what they are. The guy I got them from didn't know what they were either. He said they were in the scrap and he saved them from there at a scrap place. About the size of a lampshade, and I think that's what they would make really good, cool industrial lampshades. So we'll try to find a buyer for those if I decide to sell them. For now, I'm going to hang on to them, look at them because they're neat. I might save one of those and put it in my junkyard cabin. I don't know yet, we'll see. You can see starting to accumulate a little bit of sleet. Not too bad yet though, and it kind of died off for a second now, but they're saying it's supposed to get pretty bad here in a little bit. All the schools are canceling and they're salting the roads like crazy. He just called and said he's almost here. So we'll get this loaded up, and luckily the rain went away, so it's windy out there and it's getting pretty cold. Other than that, it's not too bad. All right, he's headed back out west with that car, got it all strapped down and everything. I'm not sure what his plans are, like I said, but that's his car now, so he can do whatever he'd like to with it. It's starting to rain, it's starting to get really cold out there again, so I'm gonna close this out here. If it's safe to drive, I'll be back out here tomorrow and we'll take a tour in the snow. What's up, everybody? We're back again today, and it's a little bit different weather than it was last time. Got a little bit of a snowdrift in front of my gate here. I'm gonna have to walk through this. This is about waist deep. I'll just have to walk over here, go around it, but man, that's pretty intense. That's gonna be fun to drive through that. And in fact, I don't know if I want to drive through that because I get this gate open easy, but then I'm gonna have to get it back closed. But I do need to get in here. That's great. Now I gotta get the gate through this because I'm not gonna be able to fit my truck through this little tiny opening. See if I can bulldoze this open a little bit. Oh man. Working at it. There we go. Almost. There we go. Yeah, it looks a little bit different than it did yesterday. It's pretty neat out here though. And all the animals must even be hiding because there's no tracks in the snow. I did see a fox earlier this morning when I was driving around town. I went by one of our other yards, kind of on the other side of town. There was a fox ran across the road in front of me. These tracks here are my tracks where I drove through earlier. It's definitely pretty out here. It's windy though. I should have came out here this morning and did this when it wasn't so windy. It was snowing pretty hard, and there was quite a bit of snow on the ground, but the roads are really slick around town, and they haven't been able to keep up with plowing them overnight. And there's a bunch of people I know needing different things, so I was out helping people and running errands for people, that sort of stuff, since I got a four-wheel drive truck. So by the time I got done with all that, it was after lunchtime. So I went and got lunch, took it home, ate lunch, and then I came out here, and now it's windy. But I figured I'll walk through some of these cars. If the wind dies down a little bit more, I'll get the drone out. It's a little bit too windy up in the air for the drone, but we'll see what happens. They say this wind's supposed to start dying down here in a little bit. Hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of cinematic snow footage. While I was out running around doing errands, a guy had told me about a place that might have a wood burning stove. I went by there and they didn't have any wood burning stoves. They said they ran out of them. So I'm probably going to go ahead and order one online. I didn't want to do that just because I really don't like the idea of a heavy package coming in the mail and then find out that it's broken and have to send it back and wait for another one to come. I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to buy one local. Unfortunately, that's just not a possibility. The cool thing is that the place I went to get a stove, they didn't have any stoves. They had discontinued carrying them. They had 2 of these things left. These are those boards. They're made to go behind the stove, but I'm actually going to put one underneath it as well, just for extra protection because of this rubber matting on the floor. I just want to make sure that doesn't ignite with embers falling or something like that. So I'm going to put one underneath it and one behind it. They had 2 of these left that people hadn't bought, and they were on clearance for 25% off. And the lady went ahead and knocked off a bunch extra, so I actually got these for less than I would have paid for one normally. I got both of these, so that was a good deal. I'll butt them up against each other. I'll put one here on the floor going up to the wall, and then one coming up the wall. One cool thing is this wall has this lip on it already that sticks out where the seat's bolted to. I'll be able to put that board right up against that, and then I'll just have to put a couple little spacers, one here and one over here, and that's going to give it a pretty good gap away from that wall, so I don't have to worry about any heat exchange, that sort of stuff. Because these things here will get hot, they just don't ignite. So you have to give yourself a little bit of clearance. Now the one underneath isn't that big of a deal because the thing is either going to have legs or it's going to be on a pedestal, so it's not going to be getting that hot down below. It's mainly just the back wall that's going to be getting hot. I was really hoping to have one put in here before it snowed, but it didn't happen. This snow's not going to last long anyway. It's cold today, and it's getting colder right now, and it's still snowing a little bit. It's supposed to snow throughout the night and be really, really cold tomorrow. And then Friday be cold again, and then Saturday and Sunday start warming up a little bit, and then most of next week is supposed to be in the mid-60s. So this snow will be gone by probably Monday or Tuesday. I mean, gone. While I was out here, I went around and took a few pictures of the cars. Some pretty cool pictures. I kind of like the way a few of them turned out, and what I'm wanting to do is start accumulating some pictures of different things, of different seasons. I'm probably going to do 2 of them, one with cars and one of stuff other than cars. But I'd like to make my own calendars. And I'll probably release those probably mid-year. They're going to be, what are they called? 15-month calendars or whatever they're called. Whatever it's going to be. That way it'll be kind of the end of this year and then all of next year. Like I said, I'll probably do 2, one with cars, one without. I don't know what it costs to even get calendars made. If it's expensive, then I'll probably just make a few for close family and friends. Plus I'll probably get a couple extras made just for a giveaway. But if they're not expensive to make, then I'll get a whole bunch of them made. So from now through probably early summer, late spring, somewhere in there, I want to work on taking pictures. And I'll just get a whole bunch of pictures, and then I'll just kind of go through them all and figure out which ones I'm going to use for which month. And that way I can come up with 12 really good pictures, the 12 best pictures. I have one picture that I took today that I already know is going to be in there. But my fingers and my face are just about frozen. Right now it's barely above 0 wind chill. So even inside this bus, it's still pretty cold. So I'm going to let y'all go. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Drop a comment, say what your favorite part of the video was. I hope you have a fantastic day, and remember to get out there and find an adventure. We'll see you next time.